The jurors in the Diddy trial are deliberating. Now, if you're not sure what the Diddy trial is, it's a trial of Sean Combs. I've got a playlist at the top of my page. Just click on that and you'll get all the information that you need. I'm a lawyer, so let me give you information on everything that happened before the jurors began their deliberations. So the judge instructed the jurors on the applicable law and how it relates to the charges that Diddy is facing. He eventually thanked them for their time, and he told them to choose a four-person, and they eventually chose juror number 5. He told them that they are free to choose their own schedule, and he also excused the alternate jurors but said that they may be required to join the main panel, and also for them to not look at any media coverage regarding this trial. As I said, he thanked the jurors, and he also, once he finished going through the law, he also approved a request by Diddy's defense attorney for Diddy to have books in his holding cell whilst he's waiting the verdict. The judge also praised both the prosecution and the defense attorneys for their effort and the way they tried this case, in his words, exceptionally. He thanked the jurors as well for their time, and all we have now is the verdict. At any moment, the verdict can come. Now, we know that the court is closed Thursday and Friday for the holiday, so the verdict can come later today, it can come tomorrow, or even a Wednesday, or even in an hour. At this point, who knows? Who knows? I will go through the law and exactly what was said in the courtroom and how the jurors were explained. The jurors had the law explained to them, should I say. Let me know if you have any comments, any questions in the comments below. And what do you think will happen? Do you think Diddy, Sean Combs, will be found guilty, or do you think he will be a free man? Let me know in the comments below. But this video is slightly longer as I go through all the law that was explained to the jurors before they began their deliberations. So let's get to it right now. The judge starts. I'll read you the charge. It's long, but I'll try to make it interesting. You've now heard all of the evidence in this case, as well as the final arguments of the parties. I will instruct you on the law as I give it to you. The evidence is the testimony, the answers, and the exhibits. Arguments are not evidence. You are the sole and exclusive arbiters of the facts. What is a reasonable doubt? It's based on your common sense after carefully weighing all the evidence. You just weigh each witness's credibility, the truth and importance of the testimony, size him or her up. You must decide. Sean Combs has been formally charged in an indictment. An indictment is not evidence. Count 1, charges from 2004 to 2024, a racketeering enterprise. Count 2, from 2009 to 2018, trafficking of Cassandra Ventura. Count 3, from 2009 to 2018, transporting individuals including but not limited to Ventura for purposes of P. Count 4, from 2019 to 2024, trafficking of Jane. Count 5, from 2019 to 2024, transporting individuals including but not limited to Jane for purposes of P. Each count is separate. For attempt, the US must show intent in a substantial step taken. Mere intention does not amount to an attempt. Aiding and abetting means knowingly doing some act to aid or encourage a crime to be committed. For RICO, the US must prove that from 2004 to 2024, there was an agreement between 2 or more individuals for a racketeer enterprise that impacted interstate commerce, that the defendant joined and committed at least 2 predicate acts. The US must prove a mutual understanding to cooperate. You may infer its existence from the circumstances of this case. Actions may speak louder than words. You may consider the acts of all of those you find to be participants. If you find that the Combs enterprise existed, you must find whether it continued in a substantially similar form from 2004 to 2024. The people can change. As to the defendant being a member, he had to know of the existence of the enterprise. The US alleges 8 predicates: kidnapping, arson, bribery, witness tampering, forced labour, trafficking, transportation for P, intent to distribute substances. The US has to prove 2 offences within 10 years. Kidnapping does not occur if the victim consented. Consent may be withdrawn. Arson under California law means a conspirator to set fire or cause the fire willfully or maliciously. Bribery of a witness under California law requires that a conspirator gave or promised to give a bribe to a person giving or about to give information to law enforcement to unlawfully influence it. For witness tampering, a violation 18 Sec 1512 B3, it does not matter if the subject of the threat is in fact fearful, only a threat is required, but it must be knowing. For forced labour 18 Sec 1589 A, requires use of force or use of force of physical restraint. A person may withdraw consent and it may become forced labour. S trafficking will have the same definition as in counts 2 and 4, and in transportation to engage in P, the same as counts 3 and 5. Next is distribution of substances, including this long word that you see here, knowingly and intentionally. Distribution means actual transfer to deliver to another person. For possession, physical custody is not needed, control is enough. RICO has a 5-year statute of limitation. You must find that it continued past 2019. If you find that the government has not proved this beyond a reasonable doubt, you must find the defendant not guilty. On S trafficking, counts 2 and 4, transport means to take or convey from one place to another. Reckless disregard satisfies the statute. The deliberate closing of eyes, you must be unanimous on at least one specific instance of S trafficking. On counts 3 and 5, knowingly transporting or arranging for the transportation of an individual for purposes of an act of P, buying or arranging a ticket is enough. P does not need to be the main purpose. P is engaging S activity for money or its equivalent. You must be unanimous on at least one specific act of transportation with intent to engage in P. On venue, the US must prove at least one act occurred in SDNY, 8 counties. We are in the home stretch. In weighing expert testimony, you should not accept it just because I allowed it. The testimony of government officials are not worth more or less weight than any other witness. Witnesses given immunity should be examined with greater care than ordinary witnesses. Charts and summaries, demonstrative aids are not evidence and will not be available to you in the jury room. Certain witnesses were permitted to be identified by pseudonyms. That should bear on your evaluation of credibility. The defendant had no responsibility to testify and he did not. You must not attach any significance to that. Voluntary intoxication may negate the intent requirement of RICO predicates. Uncalled witness, you have heard names of people not called as witnesses. Each side had an equal opportunity to call them. Do not speculate or consider this. Any notes you took are only for you, no outside reading. You are to consider only what was presented within the 4 walls of this courtroom. You may not communicate about this case, including on X, Instagram or YouTube. If you see this, tell my deputy. Do not be swayed by bias, including implicit bias. These hidden thoughts can impact what we hear and see and how we remember it. You will now retire to consider the case. Each of you must decide the case for himself or herself after deliberating. Your verdict must be unanimous. If you are divided, do not report the specifics. Your foreperson will send out any notes and any verdict. Any communication with the court should be in writing. The alternates do not have to be here, but give your phone number to my deputy. You may be called to replace a juror. You will be called when a verdict is reached. The alternates are 234, 247, 292, 321 and 330, those in the top row. Do not read any news reports of this trial if there were to be any. Please accept my heartfelt gratitude for your service over the past 2 months or even more. My deputy will provide my personal contact info. I could give you a tour of the courthouse. The alternates have now left. The judge continues. Here is a verdict sheet. Only if you find the defendant guilty of count 1, answer as to each predicate not proved or proved. And did S trafficking involve S trafficking of Cassie or Jane? Count 2, 3, 4, 5, not guilty or guilty. From now on, your schedule is your own. You'll be provided with meals. Now the marshal will swear you in. Done. Now the jurors can head back into the jury room. The prosecutor said that we object to including the subject lines of BlackBerry messages like "I'm so horny." Defense attorney said it is common for exhibits to include subject lines. BlackBerry messages are more akin to emails than to text messages. The judge responded, let's have any neutral lists go to the jury. I'll trust the parties to provide an appropriate laptop to the jurors. I'm going to stick around for a bit, but we'll just stay here as long as they wish to deliberate. At the end of the day, we'll bring them in. He continued, I appreciated the collegiality on both sides in this case. Anything before we adjourn? Prosecutor, no. Can we go to another floor of the courthouse? Judge, just give us your cell phone number. And now everyone is on verdict watch. It can be any hour, any day. As always, let me know what you think in the comments below and what you think the verdict will be.